everybody. Welcome to Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider along with Dwayne Jenkins, who's pinch hitting for Troy LaBeouf, who was on the road with the Ascension Catholic football team that had a big story tonight. This is the last show of the year. It's the best show of the year because there's a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion. And you've been through this before.
Yeah, it's nothing like getting that W tonight. The emotions that you have, the excitement for finally making it to the end of the season and knowing that you're going to get to play on the last day of the year is something that's indescribable.
This guy went in 2022, won a state championship over North DeSoto. Let's get you right to the action. We start with the top game in the state, I think we could say, Catholic and Edna Karr. Of course, Edna Karr ranked number 8 in the nation. They're traditional entrance, coming in 12-0 as the 1 seed, Catholic the 4 seed in Division I Select. And tell you what, Catholic, a good showing early in this game. Turner Goldsmith with a pitch to Justin Baptiste, and then this connection to Greg Williams. They go inside the 10-yard line. However, they stalled on the drive. Tanner Forbes, a 26-yard field goal. Bears go up by a 3-0 score. Karr would come back with a big return, but get nothing from it. Eventually, though, John Johnson finds Xavier Owens. That is a touchdown for the Cougars, and Hollywood makes it a 7-3 Karr lead. Baylor Graves, they did 2 quarterbacks, Coach.
All year. It was something that they were able to make work.
And he scores from 36 yards out to put Catholic ahead, 10-7. He had 2 big runs. The student section for the Bears loving it. And then, how about this breakaway play for Jaden Miles? LSU signee Aiden Hall, though, brings him down, and then this play by Richard Anderson deflecting that pass. The Bears had a wide-open receiver in the end zone. They couldn't convert there, right before halftime. Johnson throwing up and getting a completion to Floyd Jones. Later, Karr moves into scoring position, and here is Hollywood Johnson's 20th rushing touchdown of the year, puts his team in front by a 14-10 score with less than 3 minutes. After a poor punt, they move into field goal position, and Brian Castellan's field goal made it 17-10 at the break. Coach, there was no scoring in the second half.
Well, this is 2 great programs. Obviously, they've been competing at a high level for many years, and this game has been tight each year that they've played. And the Catholic High offense was pushed and had a couple of opportunities, but it was a Karr defense who just came up time and time again throughout the second half. I think they stopped Catholic on 8 straight possessions and forced 3 turnovers, but Catholic just wouldn't go away. They kept having opportunities to push it and try to find a way to scratch in some more points. It's just 2 of the best programs in our state going at it.
Aiden Hall had that interception you saw for Karr, and then that was Ian Locklear for the Bears. Another turnover on downs. Harrison Kader, outstanding breakup of the pass. Catholic would come away with a stop on 4th down. And then, late in the game, 4th quarter, Goldsmith up top to Jude Chamberlain. It looks like the Bears could be in position to send this game to overtime. They're certainly feeling it. But check this out, as Miles, the great running back for Catholic, with 3 guys on him, coughs up the football. Romeo Brown pounces on it. And with that, Karr takes possession. They're able to turn out the lights, and head coach Bryce Brown, what a job he has done, and wow, look at that big smile as his Karr Cougars get it done. There was a big celebration there on the sideline as Karr is now 13-0, headed back to the Dome to try to defend their state championship they won a year ago against Ash.
That's 26 games in a row that the Karr Cougars have won, and they've been rolling through everybody, and that program is hitting on all cylinders. Year in and year out, you know they're the team to beat. Catholic
certainly made a great showing, probably the best of the year that we saw against Karr so far. Now waiting on the other side of the bracket in Division I Select, 2 seed St. Aug in a rematch with John Curtis, 2 Catholic league teams. A rivalry developing for sure. Purple Knights quarterback Vashon Coulon gets things started off. A rocket over the middle to his favorite target on this night, Derek Bennett, converting a 3rd and long. Few plays later, he'll scramble, find Jael Noble, fights his way all the way down to the 1-yard line. From there, Khalil Lewis gonna cap it off with a touchdown run. St. Aug jumps out to a 7-0 lead over the Patriots. Curtis with the ball now. Jacoby Boudreaux, their bread and butter, takes the toss, picks up a 1st down with an 11-yard gain, but a few plays later, Curtis driving, bitten by the Turnover bug right there. Armand Allen for St. Aug falls on it. It's a turnover. We're going the other way, and the Knights capitalize. Coulon, the strike over the middle. Vershawn Sims Jr., the diving catch for the first down. Then Coulon dumps it off to Bennett in the flat. He will dance through the Patriots defense. Down the sideline he goes, 55 yards for the touchdown. Knights extend the lead 13-0.
Bennett's making plays all over the field right now, and he's a go-to guy for him. And Coach Valdez has found a way to get the Purple Knights knocking on the door, but you knew Curtis wouldn't go away.
That's right. They go back to Boudreaux, a big first down on that pass play. Then Gavin Leday, handoff. Looks like he might have gotten into the end zone, but at this point, he is ruled short. What do you think? Replay.
It's close. It looks like he might be on the ground, but
yep,
the Patriots punch it in.
They do. London Paget gets the ball into the end zone. 13-7, Purple Knights lead. Right before halftime, Curtis looking to take the lead, and it's Paget, the bomb to Paul Dufresne, the fifth. That's a 40-yard pickup, first down for John Curtis. But a few plays later, the pitch to Jacoby Boudreaux, Curtis fumbles it. The third time of the half, St. Aug falls on it. A crucial chance to take the lead goes by the boards for the Patriots. To the fourth quarter, Curtis still down until Paget goes to Derek Horton Jr. The Patriots take the lead. Are you kidding me? 40 seconds to go in the game. But would it be enough, or just enough time for the Purple Knights' last play of the game? Coulon to Bennett for the score at the buzzer. Wow. How's that for clinching a spot in the state championship? St. Aug wins it 31-29 in the celebration. Just as epic as the finish.
No doubt, and I think all of New Orleans is going to empty out into the Superdome for this game between Karr and St. Aug. The Purple Knights are making their first appearance since the early 1980s. I think it predates the Superdome Classic.
And Robert Valdez, who's been on the set for us in the Dome, he's going to be busy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be preoccupied. I don't think he'll be joining us this year.
All right, so we can take a look at the bracket now and show you the matchup that will feature those two Catholic League teams. That should be a 1 and a 2 for St. Aug, I believe. They're not.
They were the 3.
They were the 3. That's right.
Curtis pulled the upset last week over Turling's Catholic.
That's right. Turling's was the number 2 seed. So a 1 versus a 3 matchup and a rematch. Edna Karr obviously won it, but it wasn't a bad ball game.
It's going to be a lot of purple and gold in the Superdome next Saturday.
Awesome. Well, we're just getting started right here on Friday Night in the Boot. Back with more right after this.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
And welcome back in to Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider, along with Lutcher Bulldogs coach Dwayne Jenkins, who also does a lot of work with us in the Superdome when he's not coaching his team to a state championship. And this next matchup, you're very familiar. Not only did you see St. James and Sterlington play, you used to coach St. James.
I did.
You played St. James.
And I played Sterlington at St. James. So this has been a lot of St. James and Sterlington have been a class of Division III non-select, and they've played several times to either get to the Dome or for the state championship. So this is going to be a great match.
Jena, but some experts have said this is like the state championship game when these two powerhouses hook up.
And that was the reigning non-select state champs under Lee Doty finding his way to the field. And this was the rubber match. They've played each of the last 3 years in the semis and the state championship game. And here it comes straight out the gate. Jaquan Jackson is being sacked by the Sterlington defense. Shot out a cannon, and that was a 3-and-out. And there comes St. James again to get on the board to respond. Is getting it to Villanova for the big touchdown, and he's lightning the bottle. Every time he touches it, he finds a way.
Villanova is amazing. That's
He
all I
is
can tell you.
amazing. St. James missed the extra point, so they're down 7-6, but shortly after St. James offense responds and gets on the board again with Zenon. So Breen leads his group back out there, and there comes Xavier Stromal. Turns on the afterburners.
It's hard for me to decide, is their running game better or is their passing game better? They have such balance in this offense, plus a great defense. Hard to beat.
And there he goes again, hooking up with Zenon for the second touchdown. Gets it to 18-14 St. James, and this was back and forth in the first half. St. James doing it through the air. Sterlington putting it on the ground as Breen with the touchdown to put the Panthers back up on top 21-18. And there's Trey Birch punching it in for the Panthers to give them the lead at the half, 28-24.
Tight lead, though.
But it was tight, and there comes St. James driving it down, and the Panthers holding them out of the end zone and maybe making the biggest play of this football game to turn it around right here as St. James is getting close to punching it in. They're forced to fumble.
Oh, my goodness.
And the Panthers take over deep in their own territory.
Inside the 2-yard line. Wow.
And that recovered, and it opens the onslaught for the Panthers. And they take control of this football game behind Birch and Breen. And we see a big touchdown right here by Presley Parks. And that would be J-Rob Breen's 5th touchdown of the game.
Levanta Davis has done such a great job. Of course, Robert Valdez was at St. James before him. He's in the Superdome for a championship game. And Davis has gotten his team there so many times, but the Panthers just too much to stop, as we can see in this matchup.
They started to pull away. They broke this thing open in the second half, were able to take advantage of some turnovers, got some stops, and was really able to just take control. And that rushing game that Sterlington has been dominant for the last several years. And as Breen, again, just pouring it on here at the end for the Sterlington Panthers.
63-38. That is 101 points.
There were two big-time offenses going at it, and I just think the turnovers kind of caught up with St. James there in the second half. But hats off to Coach Davis for getting the Wildcats back to the semifinals again. But it's Coach Doty going for back-to-back state championships.
Yeah, got it going on. On the other side of the bracket, a unlikely contestant, Union Parish, the Farmers, fighting their way right into a semifinal with Jena. Second time in 3 years they're in the state semifinal against each other. The Jena offense comes out with Daniel Hatcher breaking away for a 26-yard burst and then a 2-yard touchdown. Jena and the Giants with an 8-0 lead. Next possession, Jay Rourke in the bag of tricks. Cedric Wilson, halfback pass, Zadrian Cooper. Huge pickup. Giants set up at goal to go. 2 plays later, they cash in. Wilson on the ground. Jena up 2 possessions with the score. The Farmers would come back, though, later in the quarter. Braxton Patterson, he scored in a semifinal in 23. History repeating itself. He's gone. A 70-yard touchdown run by the quarterback cuts the lead to 14-6. Giants, though, will try to answer in the second, facing a 3rd down. Open up the passing game. Deuce McPherson to Adrian Sharp. No Farmers in the picture until they get him out of bounds at the 5-yard line. 50 yards on the completion, and then Wilson on the toss. Jena back up by 16 points, and the Jena students, hey, they're ready to pack their bags for the Superdome. Hot offense did not stop there. The draw to Wilson. Union's defenders slipping and sliding, but not tackling all the way for another Jena touchdown. 30-6 at this point, and how about the defense? Best game of the season when it mattered the most. Brian Evans with the sack. Third time is the charm for the Jena Giants. That's right. They are headed to the Superdome. And I get goosebumps just thinking about kids who've waited so long to finally get there.
And Jena's been knocking on the door. Each of the last couple of years, these 4 schools have been the schools in the semifinals, and Jena's just ran up against Union, ran up against Sterlington, and hadn't been able to break through. And Coach Rourke gets them to break through, and I'm sure the whole town of Jena will be traveling to New Orleans.
Harrison Vapnick from KALB had a chance to visit with the victorious Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. We needed to get a fast start offensively and defensively just to kind of let them know that, hey, we're here to win this thing. And our kids did that. They fought hard, played extremely physical. Offense played amazing in the first half. We're able to finish the game off late in the fourth quarter for us, and the defense played amazing tonight.
So both of those wins, pretty impressive in the point differential.
No doubt, both of those teams came out obviously ready to punch that ticket, and I know Jena's been trying to kick that door down for a couple of years, and Coach Rourke and all the Giants fans are going to be pretty excited to see the inside of the Superdome.
So I guess in a way it's no surprise because you end up with the 1 and the 2 seeds advancing all the way to the Superdome. And it's good to see some new teams in there. We've obviously seen a lot of the same teams, some great games the first 2 years the network has televised, but I think we can get some great games from some of these other contestants as well.
Well, I think that first time in a long time, and you got some teams that are making their first trips to the Superdome in the first couple of brackets that we looked at, and that's always exciting for those communities, and it should be a pretty packed house.
Absolutely. All right, stay right there. More of Friday Night in the Boot right after this.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
And welcome back into Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider along with Wayne Jenkins, the Lutcher head football coach and part-time LHSA network analyst. And we already saw a district rematch. That was Curtis and St. Aug. Whale of a game, went down to the wire. How about another one of those? Not Division I select, but non-select. This one between Neville and Ouachita. First meeting, the Tigers won 38-37. They were at home. Ouachita on the road as a 14 seed. After a long Montrell Connor run, a 4th and goal, MJ Dade is stuffed by North Carolina signing Juju Burns and the Tigers student body right there in that end zone. Now, on a punt, DeAndre Mansfield gets the block for Ouachita, and the Lions wind up with great field position. Tyree Pines got it, and then
Montrell Connor.
That's right, Connor. 43 touchdowns, puts his team up 7-0. In the second quarter, they're looking for more. Right into your living room, Rydell Clark. Great catch, but out of bounds. Neville, less than 100 yards of offense in the first half. Dylan Berryman probably had something to do with that. The big run stopper. He is huge on the sack of Parker Robinson. Second quarter, huge play in the game. Robinson appears to find Desi Bird for the score. DeAndre Mansfield strips at the last minute. Is it a touchdown? Mike Collins says yes. Let's take a look.
The hardest thing to determine is it a catch? We've seen it in instant replay in college football and the NFL. You never know if it's a catch or not.
No replay, of course, at this juncture. That'll be in the Superdome, but it was 7-0 at the break. Benji Lewis, 1 half to go. Can he get his team to the Dome? 24-21. Neville trailed last time, but the Lions storm out of the locker room in this rematch. Then Connor finds Seneca Battle. 27-yard touchdown. Lions go up 14-0, and the Ouachita fans counting the minutes so they can pack their bags for Poydras. Is this the year? The Tigers say not so fast. Robinson would hit Jamarian Roberson out of the backfield. That is a 13-yard touchdown. Neville is back in the game, on the board, 14-7 your score. Lions, though, not phased. Connor, they're going to go to the air. They're not going to run it. All this kid is doing is making plays. Wydell Clark looking to put Neville away in the fourth quarter. A couple plays later, fighting for yards. The ball would squirt loose, and the Tigers pounce on it. They're back in business. And Coach Collins, looking for some offense, put together another drive. Robinson will go to Zeeland Young, his favorite target, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. No score, but big yardage. Now a third down for the Tigers. Lions defense continues to bring it, and that would be a huge sack. Fourth down for Neville. Robinson's prayer is not answered. It's out of the back of the end zone. Ouachita needs to pick up 2 first downs to put this one away. That one is the second one, and Benji Lewis says victory formation, and he would get it. What a moment for him and his son and the Lions. They're headed to the Dome.
The greatest play in football is when you get to call victory, and the Lions defense was unbelievable in the second half against a really good football team in Neville, and found a way to get it done. A team that kind of struggled through the district.
What did we say? They won one district game?
One district game.
But that's one of the best districts of all time.
But 6-4 in the regular season, and you make that run. A lot of people were probably doubting Coach Lewis and his kids, but his kids continued to believe, and they found a way.
Storybook stuff. And could they face another district opponent? Well, let's see how top seed Ruston fared against Zachary. The Broncos and David Brewerton controlled the football for 10 minutes to start this game. Can you believe that?
Ball control offense.
But on fourth down, the Bearcats stand tall, knock that one away, and take over possession. Then when the offense gets it, they go to their playmaker. First crucial play on third down. They look for the big guy, Ahmad Hudson on the screen. He will do the rest, stepping out of that tackle, pushing guys out of the way, dancing a little bit, 12 yards for the conversion. Then another third down. Sam Hartwell, the quarterback keeper for the touchdown, 7-0. Ruston in front, 8:30 left in the second quarter. Ensuing Zachary drive. How about this play? Quarterback Michael Kirby, the pump fake, deep pass. Tracoby Reams down to the 20-yard line. The Broncos in position. Tyleek Lewis pounds the rock in for the touchdown, tied at 7. Ruston can't do anything on offense. Zachary, the ball back. Boston Bentley, their fine place kicker. A field goal as time expires. The visitors were up 10-7. Just 117 first half yards for the Bearcats, but they come back and get the victory in the second half. That should be reversed, right?
Correct.
Ruston.
That should be reversed.
Ruston 21 and the Broncos 17 is what that score should be. So it's Ruston and it's Ouachita. Another rematch for the Lions to try to get their first state championship. Wow.
Just go through and replay the district and slay those Giants from that northeast district.
Iron sharpens iron. That's exactly what we're looking at. All right, much more of Friday Night in the Boot right after this.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
At Breck Golf Courses, we focus on the highest level of play. That means award-winning courses, state-of-the-art practice facilities, unique shot-making opportunities, and tournament-level playing experiences. With 2 championship courses located in the parish, Beaver Creek and Santa Maria courses make the perfect setting to test your golf skills. Find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. Steve Schneider, Dwayne Jenkins, and the select division. You had 1 seed Lafayette Christian, 2 seed Notre Dame. Could they advance and meet in the Superdome? A lot of people expected that, but tell you what, the Dunham Tigers and Elijah Haven had something to say about it.
Well, they were there last year, so they've had the bitter taste in their mouth of coming up a little bit short and been pushing all year long.
Didn't take long for him to show he's a 5-star quarterback. That sling to Trevor Heyman puts the Tigers up 7-0. Now, Lane Kiffin's getting this guy, Braden Allen, who shows you what he can do. 38 yards, he jets up the sideline. That led to a 2-yard score, tying the game at 7-7. LCA back with the ball. UL signee Braylon Walker decides to show his wheels.
I think that's the difference between Louisiana and every other state when you get into the smaller schools in this UL commitment, LSU commitment, 5-star quarterback.
Yes.
The amount of talent is unbelievable.
Yes, and here goes Elijah again. Anything you can do, I can do better. That's what it looks like. 70-yard toss and a
Jarvis
touchdown.
Washington.
Jarvis Washington, yes. 2 minutes before the quarter ends, Walker hits Caden Leday, 19-yard pitch and catch. 21-14. That was just the first quarter. This one was scoring back and forth all night long. Lots of fireworks, but Dunham would get it done on the road by 1 point. Tigers headed back to the Dome for another shot at a title.
I think we could have did highlights for the rest of the hour from this game.
Absolutely, could have filled a lot of time.
But Neil Weiner gets it done again.
That's right. So now we're going to take a look at the other team waiting on the other side, and that, of course, will be Notre Dame.
Coach Louis Cook trying to find a way back to the Dome again. But the Calvary Baptist comes up with a blocked punt early in the game that is able to return for a touchdown. That would be, but here comes the Pios again. Quarterback Drew Lejeune in the air to Bryce Duhorn for a big touchdown.
So that tied it at 7 apiece. The Pios lined up. 2 minutes to go left in the first half, a 4th and goal, but Calvary can't stop Drew, our player of the game for our game of the week. Pios up 14-7, second quarter. The ball after a turnover on downs. It's Drew and Bryce again, another touchdown, 21-7. But as the clock is winding down, it's Calvary. Hudson Price from 10 yards out in for the touchdown right before halftime, and Calvary would also, just like Dunham, go in to beat the higher-seeded team and advance back to the Superdome after being there 2 years ago, winning that state title when they edged St. Charles in dramatic fashion. They are going back. Louis Cook denied a chance to go there by 6 points. 34-28 was your final score.
Yeah, Calvary has found a way. I think last year a lot of people might have had them penciled in, kind of fell a little bit short, but Coach Ronnie Ewing gets it done this year.
A 6 versus a 5 in that bracket, so interesting stuff there. 2 fine programs who've been there and done that, and we'll see how that one comes out in the Superdome.
Yeah, you got 2 teams that experience.
Take another time out. More of Friday Night in the Boot. Stay right there.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. What you say we dip into the Division IV non-select bracket, get a little purple rain going from Mangham as they would host the defending state champ, South Plaque. That's a long drive.
It's a long haul.
Lebrano Field rocking as Mangham is in the semis, looking to get to the finals for the first time in a decade. Not easy taking on South Plaques. Beat them in the quarters last year. Hurricanes with the ball first. Dragons defense forces a punt. Dragons force to punt it right back. Canes on 3rd down again. Nobody open. Dragons get another stop. Second possession, Colby Casey gonna roll out, get the ball, and get his team on the board first as they're going after the first state title since 1956. Dragons defense holding stout, gets the ball back to Casey. The keeper shows his move, making defenders miss, gets them down into the red zone. Ensuing play. Handoff to Willie Randolph, up the middle, breaks a tackle, finds a hole, keeps on going, in for 6. South Plaquemine to give up 12 combined points in the postseason. The Dragons passed that number in the first quarter. 4th and 1 on the next drive. Casey goes full Drew Brees, leaping over the pile to keep the drive alive. And when you convert, you can go up 21-0. Hurricanes try to find something on offense. Pass over the middle, tipped, intercepted by Roderick Roberson. Dragons defense playing lights out, and then pouring it on as Randolph rumbling in for his 2nd touchdown. Mangham faithful loving it. South Plaque looking for a comeback. Deep shot down the middle. It is also intercepted. Shondarius Logan with the play right there, and the Dragons a huge win, 49-14, getting a little revenge over the Hurricanes. They move into the state championship for the first time in a decade. 2015 was the last time they were there. That's got to feel good for them.
And that's an impressive win for a program that knows how to do it. And it's just been a little while since they've been there.
Coach Feet, certainly a great accomplishment last year and a good season, but not quite enough to get his team back in the Superdome for another shot at a title. How about the number 1 seed, Haynesville, playing at home against Jeanerette, which was very impressive in earning their way into the semifinals. Haynesville, though, tough to beat anywhere, much less at home. Golden Tornadoes on the board first. Ethan Henderson breaks off the 37-yard run to the end zone, and the Tornadoes quickly up 6-0. Tigers would answer back, though. Kobe Gage gonna haul it in, and on the return, usually when we show kickoff returns, they're good.
Yeah.
This one's really good.
This one's really good.
They can't catch him, and he's tied the ball game just like that, 6-6. However, the Golden Tornadoes find themselves back in the red zone on a 4th and 2, and they are going to not run it, but toss it for 6. Isaiah Washington, the LSU recruit, quarterback and defensive back. Donnie Critton, who's wrapped up by a gang of
there he is.
Tigers, and there is Washington again, and he has got tickets to the house. Yes, into the end zone, 21-6 Haynesville.
That'll make some Tiger fans happy.
Back in the end zone with Critton getting the handoff. That made it 28-6, and it was only a matter of time. Jeanerette just didn't have the firepower to stay in this one. It was 31-6, less than 30 seconds before half. Tillman tries to go deep, and Critton takes his turn getting a pick, and yes, he's going to take it back for another touchdown for the Golden Tornadoes. They were up 37-6 at the half. 47-6 is your final.
Coach Franklin knows how to get it done.
Doesn't he?
And those guys, year in and year out, they've got young guys that step up, guys that you never heard of, and then you got guys like Isaiah Washington, who's led them there a few times, and the next guy looks like to be on that track was Ethan Henderson. We saw him make some highlights, a young sophomore, so they just reload year after year.
There's just some places where it just means more, not to borrow an SEC saying. All right, here's your bracket. It's 1 versus 2, as many folks up in North Louisiana expected it might play out. Should be a whale of a game, and that'll be our first game in the Dome on Thursday when we get things started around noon. So invite you to join us for all the games live here on the LHSA Network for free on our live channel. More of Friday Night in the Boot right after this.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
No one ever thinks they'll be in this position. Buying medication online could put you here, or here, or here. Counterfeit pills and other illicit substances are being laced with fentanyl, and fentanyl kills. It's 50 times stronger than heroin. Medical professionals can't even tell the difference between a real pill and one that is fake. At least not until they do your autopsy. Don't take anything online that doesn't come from your doctor. Buying online could leave you flatlined.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. This year, the first football I saw with pads and competition was St. Charles Catholic, U-High in the scrimmage, and St. Charles, they were a little embarrassed. U-High kind of ran them out of the building, but Wayne Stein and his team came back from that, learned from that, toughened up, ended up being the 1 seed, and wouldn't you know it, hosting the Cubs for a chance to go to the Superdome after the Comets weren't there last year. Let's take you to the action. The #1 Comets against the 4th-ranked Cubs. St. Charles, who we had in our season opening game of the week, they have a return guy who's pretty good. Chris Don McLean, he had the play of the game in that one, and look how he starts this game. All the way down to the 23-yard line on the kickoff return, and on the very next play for the Comets, Landry LeBlanc, their quarterback option, cuts right and in for the score. How about that? Quickly out to a 7-0 lead at Frank Monica Field. After a couple of field goals put them up 13-0, LeBlanc to Evan DeFore fights over 2 defenders for another score, 20-0. Comets, what a reversal from what we saw in that scrimmage. U-High tries to get back in it. Ethan McGlynn looks to pass, takes off, gets by a defender and into the end zone, makes it 20-7. U-High back in the red zone. Corbin Odell, direct snap, punches it in, makes it a 1-score game, 20-14. But St. Charles, LeBlanc, how about that? Nobody catching him. 27-14, Comets in front. U-High, no quitting these guys. Odell again, bursts through the middle, drags defenders, 27-21. Fourth quarter, U-High needs a touchdown. And McGlynn is gonna look deep and fire it up. Who's their big play guy with 10 touchdowns? That would be Lawson Dixon, who makes the grab, runs it in for the touchdown. We're tied at 27. U-High's extra point would put them in the lead, but look at just a brute force in the middle of that line. They slap it away.
Special teams, special teams.
Wayne Stein makes a living on that, and in overtime,
Landry LeBlanc again.
LeBlanc fakes the handoff, 34-27. U-High needs a score to keep pace. McGlynn, corner of the end zone. Receiver unable to come down with it, and St. Charles Catholic is headed back to the Superdome. Wayne Stein and company, 34-27, the final in that one.
You know when you play St. Charles, special teams are going to be important. From the opening kick to
the block
extra point with the game on the line, with 1:30 to go. U-High scores to tie it up, extra point. They don't take a play off. They find a way to get the block.
Who are they going to play?
Well, Vandebilt Catholic was hosting the first semifinal playoff game since 1977 against
That was my freshman year of college.
Against the defending state champs Shaw Eagles. Anthony Condell's in at quarterback, hits a big completion to Braylon Jackson over the middle for a first down to get Shaw in business early in the first quarter.
And Tierney's team, the defending state champion, right?
That's it. John Carlos DeBrand gets the Eagles on the board with a field goal to make it 3-0 Shaw in the first quarter. Coach Tierney, been doing this a long time. He knows how to get teams ready. They're playing their best at the right time, and there's that defense. Shaw's defense has been outstanding all year long. That's Ethan Haney wrapped up by Jaden Weber to get Shaw a big stop.
And Spencer Verrett shot this game for us, and we heard several times how much it rained and how sloppy the field was.
You always find one of those during the season where it's going to rain, and there's Allen back to pass again, but this one's picked off by Liam Voisin, who runs it back, while Gabe Douglas, if you catch him in the bottom of the picture, is doing some push-ups. And Voisin gets the Terriers in business deep in Shaw territory in a 3-0 game. So here come the Terriers trying to find a way their students are pumped up and ready to go. But it was the Shaw defense that was able to come up time and time again, swallowing up Haney on fourth down.
This reminds me of when they played Lafayette Christian. Came out of nowhere and just shut down Lafayette Christian. I think they had 6 interceptions in that game, and that's what we're seeing right here now.
They've showed flashes, but here's the big boy on a fake punt to really get him going. And I think this was probably a big play in the game. This was Michael Banks, the defensive lineman, picks up a big first down.
Look at his smile.
And I think that got him going. It looks like from this point on, Shaw's able to find a way. They throw one in the end zone here. It gets broken up by the Terriers. And Coach Tierney's asking for one more second on the clock. But I don't think he gets it. And there we go in the third quarter. DeAndre Franklin, and Shaw takes the lead 10-0 after they clear the pile. And here come the Eagles, trying to find a way. They knew they were 24 minutes away from getting back to the Superdome, and Coach Tierney had them come out at halftime, fired up and ready to go. And that defense was suffocating all night long.
And the Terriers had such a great season, but facing defending state champ and a coach like Hank Tierney, that's a tall order even when you're playing at home with this defense.
Yep, Ethan Lentz gets the interception for the Eagles, and it gets the Eagle fans. They can start to smell the move and tacks on another field goal by DeBrand to make it 13-0 the Eagles. As we move into the fourth quarter, Coach Tierney knows it's getting close. the defense is still playing well, and that Shaw defense was just play after play. We played this Vandebilt team early in the season. Against us, they were able to make some plays on fourth down, but the Shaw Eagles were able to shut them down. And the nail in the coffin comes in, the icing on the cake right there with Karr getting a touchdown.
So Shaw and St. Charles Catholic.
A rematch.
From a district game.
From a district game in week 10?
Yeah, and the Comets, as I recall, won it pretty handily. Can Shaw rejuvenate themselves coming off this win and make it interesting? They made it more than interesting last year, winning that state championship. All right, when we come back, the team that he saw in person, Iowa's Yellow Jackets. Stay right there.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard. Part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot. Dwayne Jenkins. We wish you were still playing, but your Bulldogs ran up against an Iowa Yellow Jackets team. That's why you're here with us tonight. You saw them firsthand. They were up against Belle Chasse for a shot at the Dome.
Yeah, Tommy Johns has the Yellow Jackets program rolling. They've been knocking on the door here for the last couple of years. It was standing room only. That time was going to turn out for this football game, and there's been a lot of talk about Belle Chasse's tough defense all week long and how well the Yellow Jackets defense played. This guy, Caston Lewis, is unbelievable. He makes plays on both sides of the ball for him, and it won't be the last time you hear his name. The Jackets are down 7-0 in the second, and here comes Javen Adams, their 1,400-yard rushing running back, to show off the speed and from the Wildcat, gets a big gain.
little knee to the...
Okay. The Jackets are 4th and 10, and Lawson Broussard is going to put it up to the Houston commit, Jeremiah Bushnell, to get the ball down to the 2, which is going to set up, which is going to be... It feels like every time this kid touches the ball, he scores, and that's Caston Lewis. He finds a way. He's got a nose for the end zone, and there he is, punching it in. And it puts up the Yellow Jackets 8-7 before the half, and you can see the confetti, and the Yellow Jacket fans are pumped up. Amari Ambrose from Belle Chasse lets one fly, and there's that guy again, Caston Lewis, with another turnover, another interception, another big play for the Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets up 14-7. They dig deep into the playbook, and there's Javen Adams, who launches one up, and as the Houston commit, Jeremiah Bushnell going up and over two Belle Chasse Cardinals.
When you prepared for this team, you saw a lot of talent, huh?
We did. They are extremely talented. Javen is a really good running back. They kind of got a little thunder and lightning there, and as Caston Lewis lines up in a Wildcat, this is on 3rd and long. He finds a way and gets it in again. Last week against us, he had 3 touchdowns and an interception to clear it, and that's Tommy Johns. So excited. He's a great guy. He's kind of built that program. They've been knocking on the door, and just really happy for the good guys right there with Tommy John to finally find his way to New Orleans.
28-21, 13-0. They'll play for a state championship and the #1 seed. North DeSoto taking on Plaquemine. Of course, the Green Devils on the verge of getting to the Dome. They played Cecilia last year.
He knows a little bit about getting to the Dome. Coach Dunn. He's been there quite a few times.
Early is Plaquemine, though. Tyron Henderson goes to Spencer Collins. That's an early 6-0 Green Devils lead, and they would expand it to 14-0 against the Griffins. Henderson to Collins again. It's almost like an instant replay. However, the Griffins may have spotted them a 14-0 lead, but they outscored them 58-30. Let's show you some of that. Kenny Thomas.
Kenny Thomas is the Louisiana Tech signee. He's the all-time leading rusher in North DeSoto history.
He's dragging like 7 Green Devils for an 11-yard gain, and then he will score a touchdown on top of that. Here he comes, right there at the bottom of your screen, 14-7. Griffins' Luke Delafield was playing against you when he was a freshman in the Dome, trying to get back his senior year. Here he comes. Here he goes.
Cool hand Luke has added that to the repertoire. He runs the football a little bit more as he's gotten bigger and stronger throughout his career, and he's an incredible kid. I got to see him play basketball
Final
last year.
score in this one was 58-44 as the Griffins pulled away in the second half. Green Devils, a fine season, but they end at 12-2 with that 14-point defeat. So you've got the #1 seed and the #2 seed, as we've seen in some of the other brackets. North DeSoto and Iowa. Who would you pick in that matchup?
North DeSoto's been rolling all year long, but there's something about that Iowa football team. I think they'll find a way. They've got some talented kids, and if I had any advice for Coach Dunn, keep it away from #3, Caston Lewis.
We'll be back to wrap the show up with Division IV Select. Stay right there.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Welcome back to Friday Night in the Boot, our final segment as we're now down to the Division IV Select matchup. And Riverside playing at home. River Parish football, right?
Yeah, good friend Lee Roussell's leading the Rebels, trying to get them back to the Dome for the second time in 3 years. And early on, you see the Blue Gators quarterback drop back and pass and get intercepted by Jace Trusclair to give Riverside the ball after he bumbles and stumbles a little bit to get it down.
Ascension Episcopal, of course, knocked out the #1 seed, Hamilton Christian, trying to hang with the Rebels.
And you got to get Jaden Obikwe, who's getting a nice run to move the chains, and you're going to hear that name quite a few times because a few plays later, here's Obikwe punching it in for the Rebels to get them a 7-0 early lead. As we move to the second quarter, you get a little bit more Obikwe with some nice runs.
And shout out to that O-line. Man, he breaks tackles, and sometimes they just clear a path for him.
And is able to, the Blue Gators were able to punch one out and get a stop. And here's Brandon Mitchell, whose dad was pretty good at football. Finds Andre Abshire for the screen, and he breaks it and gets free and gets open downfield and pushes the ball into Rebel territory. And you're able to see maybe a touchdown saving tackle right there by Cameron Mott for the Rebels. And there's Mitchell getting the ball back a few plays later to Preston Peoples, and he punches it in to get the game tied 7-7. But here come the Rebels. Screen, swing pass to Obikwe. He's able to get a big gain, gets into some space, and later is able to get the Rebels back to the lead. And when Obikwe finds the end zone to get them up 14-7 at the half, but in the second half, it's all Rebels.
Yeah, I was listening to this game, the broadcast, and it was 14-7 late third quarter, and then Riverside just exploded after Ascension Episcopal had tied the game. All right, let's look at the other half of that bracket. That would be either the Bulldogs of Ascension Catholic or Westminster, who was undefeated and felt this would be their year.
Simon, little eye candy. Simon's got
Christian
room.
of Opelousas.
There goes that man.
Trevin Simon had 6 touchdowns tonight. He has 57 rushing touchdowns for the year, 59 total. That was a house call to make it 7-0. Here we go again. That made it 14-0 with a 10-yard run. And then Jude Morrison pulls it. Zone read. I'll tell you what, the Bulldogs,
they're rolling.
Opened a can in this game.
They're rolling.
Check out your final score as they prevail over Westminster Christian. First loss of the year for them, 45-14. So co-host Troy, it was a good thing he went to that game.
Yeah, I'm sure he's pretty excited, but that offensive line for Ascension Catholic, got to see them early in the year. They do a great job, and Simon is very impressive.
Here's the bracket. Ascension Catholic, the 5 seed, Riverside, the 2 seed. And we get a chance with maybe about 30 seconds left just to reflect on what this year in the Dome is going to be like. The first 2 years, you've been there with us. It's been incredible games, incredible historic type games.
I think we've got a lot of great matchups, and I think you got some new flavor. I think that's always big when those new teams get an opportunity to play in the Dome.
Appreciate you being here, my man.
Thank
we'll
you.
see you on the floor of the Superdome for all the live coverage here on the LHSA Network. For all of our crew, I'm Steve Schneider. He's Dwayne Jenkins. Thanks for watching Friday Night in the Boot on the LHSAA Network.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.